Long ago, in the heat of the desert sun, Abraham obeyed the voice of God. But not far from him, in the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, darkness grew. Injustice ruled, and evil was celebrated. What happened to a simple traveler passing through these cities will leave you stunned, and show why divine judgment was near. This is their story. Subscribe to watch more video like this. Abraham rose and obeyed all that God had commanded him. He took the men of his household and those purchased with his money and circumcised them, as the Lord had instructed. Abraham and his son Ishmael were circumcised in the flesh of their foreskin. Ishmael was 13 years old when he was circumcised. On the third day, Abraham went out of his tent to enjoy the heat of the sun and to ease the pain of his circumcision. The Lord appeared to him in the plain of Mamre, sending 3 angels to visit him. Abraham, sitting at the door of his tent, saw them coming from a distance. He got up, ran to meet them, bowed down, and invited them into his home. Abraham asked, "If I have found favor in your sight, please come in and rest. Let me bring you a morsel of bread." He urged them to stay, and they agreed. Abraham gave them water to wash their feet and placed them under a tree by the tent. Abraham quickly selected a tender calf and gave it to his servant Eliezer to prepare. Abraham went to Sarah in the tent and told her, "Quickly, prepare 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and bake cakes." She did as he instructed. Abraham hurried to bring butter, milk, beef, and mutton to serve them before the calf was fully cooked. The guests ate. Afterward, one of the men said, "I will return to you next year, and Sarah, your wife, will have a son." The men then departed and went to their appointed places. During this time, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah, and the entire region of 5 cities, were exceedingly wicked and sinful. Their abominations provoked the Lord, and their wickedness increased greatly. The land of Sodom had a vast valley, about half a day's walk long, with abundant water and surrounding herbage. The people of Sodom and Gomorrah gathered in this valley 4 times a year with their wives, children, and belongings, rejoicing with music and dancing. During these gatherings, they would engage in immoral acts, taking their neighbors' wives and daughters, without protest. Each man saw his loved ones being taken by others and said nothing. This practice continued from morning to evening, and afterward, each person returned home with his own family, repeating the actions 4 times annually. When a stranger came to these cities with goods for trade, the people of Sodom and Gomorrah would forcibly seize the goods, sharing them among themselves, leaving the merchant with little. If the merchant protested, claiming his goods were taken unfairly, they would mock him, each saying, "I only took what you gave me." This caused the merchant to leave, sorrowful, only to be driven out by the crowd. A man from Elam, traveling on his donkey carrying a colorful mantle, arrived at Sodom when the sun began to set. As night fell, he sought shelter, but no one would offer him lodging, despite having provisions for his journey. Hadad, a wicked man from Sodom, saw him and approached, asking, "Where do you come from, and where are you going?" The man replied, "I am traveling from Hebron to Elam. I stopped in Sodom as the sun set, but no one would offer me shelter, though I have enough food and supplies for my journey." Hadad responded, "You may stay with me. I will provide what you need, but you cannot stay in the street." Hadad took the traveler to his home, removed the colorful mantle from the donkey, and gave it to him. He fed the donkey and offered the traveler a meal, where he rested for the night. The next morning, the traveler prepared to leave, but Hadad urged him to stay and have some bread. The traveler agreed and stayed another day. On the second day, as the traveler again prepared to leave, Hadad pressed him to stay a bit longer, and they ate together once more. On the third day, Hadad asked the traveler to remain, but he insisted on continuing his journey. As the traveler saddled his donkey to leave, Hadad's wife complained, saying, "He has stayed with us for 2 days, eating and drinking, but has not given us anything. Will he leave without giving us something in return?" Hadad responded, "Be silent," and the traveler asked for the cord and mantle from the donkey. The traveler explained that he had given the cord and mantle to Hadad for safekeeping, and now he asked for them to be returned. Hadad responded, "The cord symbolizes that your life will be extended, and the mantle represents a future vineyard with all kinds of fruit trees." The traveler objected, saying, "I was awake when I gave you the cord and mantle to keep. They are mine, and I am asking for them back." Hadad insisted, "I have given you the interpretation of your dream, and it is a good one. Pay me 4 pieces of silver for my services." The traveler, upset by Hadad's words, took his case to Sirach, the judge of Sodom. Hadad stood before the judge and defended his interpretation, claiming to be known for his skill in dream interpretation. The judge ruled in Hadad's favor. The traveler, frustrated, continued to dispute with Hadad. The judge sided with Hadad, insisting his interpretation was accurate. Hadad demanded 4 pieces of silver for the dream interpretation, as well as compensation for the meals the traveler had consumed during his stay. The traveler agreed to pay for the meals but insisted on receiving the cord and mantle. Hadad repeated his interpretation, demanding the full payment for his services. The traveler, upset, continued to argue, but the judge had the men expelled from the court. The people of Sodom, hearing the dispute, gathered around and drove the traveler out of the city. The traveler, feeling bitter and wronged, continued his journey, lamenting the treatment he had received in Sodom. He wept as he traveled, deeply disturbed by the corruption he had witnessed in Sodom. As he continued on his journey, the traveler mourned the evil practices he had encountered in the corrupt city of Sodom.